Well, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the farm. So it has been 6 months exactly since I bought my chicks back in late March. So I'm gonna take a minute here to walk you guys through, show you everything that's going on with the coop and what's going on with the girls. Now, if you guys watched any of my other chicken videos that I have here on the channel, I had some pretty pie in the sky ideas as to how this all was gonna go down. So through the course of this video, I'm not just gonna talk about the things that are going well and as expected with the coop, I'm gonna talk about the things that aren't going as expected also. So probably my favorite feature of all the things that we did has gotta be the Dutch doors. This has made it super easy. Basically every day, if not multiple times a day, I'm coming out and I'm throwing in stuff from the garden. I'm throwing in weeds, rotten tomatoes, scraps from the house, whatever it may be. They are garbage disposals. They'll eat anything. The nipple watering system is working out real well. I actually have raised this once already, but the birds, I thought they were pretty much done growing, but they've kind of gotten bigger than even when I thought they had kind of plateaued in size. So I'm probably gonna have to come out here and one more time raise this up another 2 inches or so they don't have to crane their necks as much to get up underneath it. When they can get directly underneath it and come at it from below, they waste a lot less water. If they gotta kind of come at it from the side, more of that water hits the ground than goes into their beaks. So, like I said, one more time, probably gonna have to bring that up a little bit. Done it once already, but it's just a few screws. Raise that up, and we'll conserve some more water. But 10 out of 10, definitely would recommend doing some sort of nipple watering station like this, as opposed to, a little watering trough that's similar to the feeder that I got over there. Easier to maintain, a lot bigger volume. Now, if you watch the coop building series, you may remember that we built a run on either side of the coop, thought being that I was going to be able to rotate the birds from one side to the other, and in the period where one of the sides didn't have birds in it, I thought that would allow some grass to grow back up, so I always could keep them feeding on green and not have to worry about supplementing their diets with the green stuff. So as you can see, I sort of underestimated how much chickens like to scratch. So they have been over on this side for about 2.5 weeks now, and as you can see, there is not a bit of live green grass to be seen. So here I am over on the other side in the run area where they haven't been for the past couple of weeks. Since they have done such a good job of scratching out all the green, roots and all, I've had to help them out a little bit. So what I've done, and it seems to be working decently well, is when I move them into the other run area, what I do is I come out here with a couple handfuls of grass seed and I throw grass seed out here. And then every time I have my watering cart out to water the garden, I pull it over here to the coop and I water the grass. Now, one other cool thing that I got going on out here in this run is if you watched my video on seed saving tomato seeds, you heard me talk about how tomatoes naturally have a coating on them, like an anti-sprouting coating. That's so in nature, if the tomato falls off the vine, all the seeds don't germinate right in that same area and have all that competition with each other. So it gives it an opportunity for birds and other animals and stuff to eat it and carry it off. Now, in the video, I talked about how I was going to harness the power of fermentation to break down that coating. So that's how I was going to do it inside the house. But in nature, like I said, it happens inside the digestive system of a bird. So not a couple days later, I noticed all these plants coming up out here. And guess what? They are all tomato plants. Basically everything that you see that isn't grass is a tomato plant. Having been eaten by one of the chickens, the seeds gone through their digestive system, breaking down that anti-sprouting coating, and then deposited out here in the manure-rich, fertilizer-rich soil out here in the run. So even though it's not taking place as naturally as I kind of thought it was going to, I have been able to somewhat achieve keeping green forage inside of the runs for the girls to come out and scratch and peck at and eat. Another feature I've been super happy with so far is the deep bedding, the deep litter that I did. So my wood chips are about 10 inches deep in here. I have not really had any smell issues. I've not had any moisture issues. I'm 6 months in and I don't feel like that I need to change it yet. So I'm gonna let it keep going for a while until I start to, you know, experience some smell or moisture issues. The girls, as much as they like to scratch around, they've done a real good job of turning everything over. So it's never really like developed a layer of manure on top or anything. They keep turning it over every once in a while. I got to come out and use a rake or something to kind of even it back out a little bit, because they do like to kind of dig little like wallows and stuff in it. So 10 out of 10 on the deep bedding. For the most part, I've got all the girls starting to lay up in the nesting boxes too. But as you can see over here, I've got a couple stubborn girls that refuse to get up in there and keep laying on the other side of the coop, in the coop. So what I've done is I've made this little egg grabber here. I got this idea from my friend Lauren, actually. It's just a little pasta spoon on the end of a pole, and I'll show you how it works real quick. And it works absolutely perfect. Reaching across, scooping them up, and usually I'll just drop it into the box, so when I go around with my basket, I pick them all up at the same time. And then the last and best part is getting to come out every evening when I get home from work and collect the eggs. So like I said, pretty much all the birds have figured out how to lay in the boxes. One thing that I did do that I would definitely recommend is I found these ceramic eggs and I put them into the nesting boxes as all the girls were first starting to lay, and that really convinced them all to start getting into the boxes. There were a lot more of them that were laying inside of the coop before I got the ceramic eggs, so I would definitely recommend that. And if I had it to do over again, I probably would put the ceramic eggs into the nesting boxes even before the birds start laying, just to kind of encourage them that, hey, this is where the eggs are supposed to go. So just 7 eggs today. That's pretty typical. Most days are 7 or 8. Some days are 6, some days are 9, some days are even 10. So for the 10 birds that I have, you know, on average, I usually get 7 or 8. Then I guess the last and probably most important thing I should talk about is all of the predator proofing that we did. I have had no issues with anything getting into the coop so far. I have a trail camera set up there, right there on that tree that shines right over here at the coop. I have seen one raccoon being inquisitive in like the 4+ months that the chickens have actually been out here in the coop. Lots of deer. The deer have actually messed around with it more than anything else, but I think that was mostly to do with when this fresh grass got planted. After we put the predator barrier in around the ground, you could see spots where they had come and kind of pawed at it and nibbled at it. And then the other thing that I see lots on the trail camera is wild turkeys. The wild turkeys love hanging out with their little chicken cousins, I guess. There are a couple of spots where I don't know if this is washout or if this was actually something attempting to get up in here. But if it was thus far unsuccessful. There's another spot down here where, like I said, I'm not sure exactly if this is washout or if it's something trying to get in there. But there's, you know, a couple of the spots where the deer have pawed. So not to toot my own horn too much, but I think me and Dad did a pretty bang-up job on the predator proofing aspect. But then also shout out to Carolina Coops, because I pretty much directly ripped all of the ideas off of them. Well guys, I guess that just about does it for this little update on the Pullet Palace. Only other thing, you know, we did put the solar panel up here. We don't have that hooked up into anything yet. So once I do get that hooked up, I'm sure you'll see a video about it. Once we get our little pump station out here and we get a tank to do a little rain collection. But other than that, chickens have been a blast so far. Definitely recommend it. You know, you don't have to quite do it at this scale if you just want to do a little backyard chicken coop or something. I definitely am planning on upping my flock next year. You know, maybe 10 or 15 more birds, up into around 20, 25, try to increase my egg production. Super cool so far. As always, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe. Leave a comment for me down in the comment sections if you got any questions about the coop, raising chickens, what I had for breakfast. Leave it down there in the comment section. I'll be sure to get back to you. Until next time, guys, we'll see you. It's a feeding frenzy.